What is going on, everyone? Platinum Beast coming at you with yet another video. Today we are going to be talking about everyone's favorite, least favorite metal, copper. Its potential, what the experts are saying, things of that nature. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so today's topic is going to be copper. And being the Platinum Bees, I'm sure a lot of you are like, why is this guy talking about copper? This is not his game. You are right in that. I do not stack very much copper. Most of my copper stack consists of copper I got for free, copper pennies, and then these couple of copper rounds I added just so I could get free shipping from SD Bullion at some point. And so, but today I want to talk about copper because a lot of the experts are saying the top 2 performing commodities of 2021 are picked, and those commodities that were picked as far as precious metals are concerned are silver and copper. Copper? Okay, so a lot of people are saying that copper is going to be one of the top precious metals for 2021 as far as increasing in spot value. Now, copper is not worth a whole lot. I want to say that right off the bat. It's not worth a whole lot of money. It's like $3 or $4 a pound. But the thing is, there is some room for copper as far as stacking. Now, if you've been stacking a while, or if you've seen some of my other videos or what have you, you know that copper pennies are made out of 95% copper if they're 92 or before. Some of the or 82, I'm sorry. Some of the 82 coins are not copper. And so you have to kind of do a weight check is what I normally do as far as copper. Also, it sounds a little bit different if you have a modern penny versus a copper penny when you drop it. So there's some different ways to tell if your 82 pennies are copper. But as you can see here, these are my wheat pennies that I have in my stack. And these are just generic copper pennies that look like the regular penny. And this is the extent, basically, of my copper stack. I also have a half-filled roll of regular copper pennies. But these are my wheat pennies. These are my regular copper pennies. And then I've got a little bit more. I've got a couple ounces. And I have one special piece that my father, who is part of his business is in mining, and a long time ago he gave me this little piece that a miner gave him as a sample piece from their mine that he was looking to acquire. So that kind of just is a little unique piece that I hold dearly, and I have held dearly for quite a while because it's just unique to me. But today's topic, copper. Okay, so I would not suggest picking up this copper bullion stuff. If you want to pick up a round or two just for novelty's sake, that's not such a bad play. I got these from SD Bullion at $1 each. So $1 is not too much for my comfort. A couple bucks just to get free shipping, and shipping would have cost like $10 anyways. So I was at like 97, 98 bucks and just needed a little bit to get to that free shipping. So I added a couple of copper rounds. So yeah, but I would not suggest picking up copper as far as physical precious metal. What I would suggest is being sure to check your pennies that you get in change from a store or what have you, or perhaps your change jar at home, and see if you have any copper pennies in there, because technically speaking, these pre-82 copper pennies, and especially the wheats, are worth about 2 pennies in copper. So they are good to hold on to and to stack, and they don't really hurt, they only really help. Now, they only help a little bit, so it's just kind of like a what if kind of scenario. If copper takes off and shoots to the moon, and I don't think it's going to be worth like crazy amounts of money, but there's potential for it to grow in value. And in my opinion, the more it grows, the more people will be paying attention to it, and the more people will be saving their copper pennies rather than spending them or putting them back into circulation. So we might see copper pennies dissolve from circulation over time. Now, in my experience, when I've picked up some rolls at the bank just for fun's sake, just trying to find some copper pennies just out of, I don't know, boredom or what have you, around 20 to 25% of each roll is copper pennies. Now that's a pretty decent number. If you could do that with silver, people would be going left and right for silver. Most of the silver was taken out of circulation in 2011 when silver spiked to 50 bucks an ounce, and people realized that if they found silver quarters, silver dimes in their change, they were worth, I don't know, 10 bucks for a quarter probably, or more, maybe even like 15 bucks for a quarter. So that's a substantial increase in overall value. So most silver has been taken out of circulation. There are still people who search coin rolls from banks and still do come up with silver every now and then, but it's very far and few between. That's not the case with the copper. If you get a roll of copper pennies from a bank, chances are around 20 to 25% of the pennies in that roll will be copper. Now there is 50 pennies per roll, so that equals, I don't know, 10, 15 copper pennies, which is not really that great of a return on value, seeing as though pennies are only worth about 2 cents in copper if they are full copper pennies. So you find 15 copper pennies in a roll and it ends up being worth 30 cents. So that's not a very substantial increase in overall value. So there's not a whole lot of people doing that right now, but that could change if copper increases in value. The more it increases, the more people will be looking at it and the more people will be saving their copper pennies from their change rather than turning them into a bank or spending them in a store. So in essence, guys, I do not suggest picking up too much copper bullion this year. It may perform better than other precious metals, but it's not going to increase to levels that are unobtainable or unreachable or unrealistic. Now, one thing I want to mention about copper is about 40%, they say, is recycled. So it's a very much recycled metal, right? If people take copper wires, copper pipes, copper everything to a recycler and they get money for it. And so it is very, very, very much heavily recycled. So it's not a metal that anybody's really running out of per se to an extent that would drive prices up. Unlike silver and especially platinum, which is so very rare and hard to come by, those prices are very much influenced on their availabilities. Copper is so widely available, so much recycled, that we're not really hurting for copper at this time. Could that change 20, 30 years from now? Possibly. But at the current state, I would not suggest putting too much weight and interest and value into copper. Like I said, copper pennies are the best way to go. If you can find copper pipes or wiring or what have you, that might not be a bad idea either, to just kind of hold on. I know that can get cumbersome and take up a lot of room and things of like that nature. So if you have the room, great. If not, I would just probably suggest taking it to the refinery or the scrapyard or recycling facility and just trade it in for money and turn it into silver, because that wouldn't be a bad option either. And that is a potential option. If you come across a lot of scrap copper, sell it to a recycler or someone else and put that money into silver. Or I don't imagine anybody having enough copper for gold or platinum, but if you could do that, that wouldn't be a bad play either. And realistically, that's what I could do with this copper. I just choose to hold on to it just for kind of old time sake and to diversify my overall stack and my overall weight across the board on all precious metals. Now, I use the word precious metal. I don't think copper is so much of a precious metal because it's not that rare and it's not that valuable at the current time. But silver was used for currency at one point, and it was worth about what it was worth for like $1, right? If you had $1 silver certificate, you went to the bank, you could get 4 quarters or a piece dollar or something for it. But that's just it. The dollar was equal to the precious metals. Now that the dollar is not equal to the precious metals, that changes things up a bit. But obviously, copper has increased enough to no longer be used in metals. And so if you want copper, you're going to spend more per the amount of copper versus the amount of copper they used to use in metals. The same thing kind of happened to silver and somewhat to gold back in the day. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of make a video talking about copper, my thoughts on it, because it has been mentioned by a lot of the big time names in the news, and the precious metals media and things of that nature as being one of the top performing picks for 2021. This and silver were both picked. As always, I'm not a financial advisor. I also don't take the word of other investors and professionals as just the Holy Bible or the Word of God. I do my own research and I come up with my own conclusions, and I just wanted to make this video telling you all my thoughts on it so that you all can take that, think about it, and come up with your own conclusion on whether or not copper is a good investment this year. So that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to all my loyal followers. I appreciate all of you. Thank you to any new people. Welcome to my channel. Be sure to check out my other videos. I have a lot of videos talking about other precious metals, but mainly platinum. And with all that being said, guys, until next time, we will see you.